viewer joins us on the phone this morning. Do well to also join us via online stream to lend your thoughts to the issues in the news. Good morning to you, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Very good morning to you and to our viewers.
Now, let's begin with this debate. CSOs are bickering over President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's extended stay in Europe. We hear he has departed Paris and is now in London and would probably return after the Easter holidays. What do you make about the calls for the president to return and attend to rising issues of insecurity in Plateau and Benue State?
Well, you recall that as at the time our president left the shores of this country, we are told that he's on a 2 weeks working visit. In that 2 weeks working visit, there are also unconfirmed reports that he might have traveled for health reasons. And in this past 2 weeks that he has been away, we have recorded a whole lot of things, especially with regards to security that have deteriorated. Number of citizens, that are counting in tens, if not in hundreds, have died. And we expect our president as a responsible leader to possibly return to show that leadership traits and responsibility that we expect from him, at least show solidarity, do a lot of interventions, because oftentimes we see that leading nations in the world, whenever they have issues of insecurity, maybe shooting at mall, school, worship center, anywhere in the world, either US, UK, you will see our government quickly react with regards to solidarity messages. But now here we are having our citizens dying in their tents, and tension is very, very high with regards to the killings, both in the Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, and other areas. We expect our president to return. We don't, no matter the interventions you are, the working visits you are going to other countries to attract investors. The investors will invest in a land where you have the living. You understand?
Yes, please.
The priority number one should be the security of your people. Secure your people, then you can, attract investors. Not when your people must have died and, this lack of trust and the faith must have eroded. Then you say you are bringing investors. Except there's something they are not telling us. If maybe the managers at the presidency can be honest enough and tell us, okay, maybe our president has been away on a health grant, or maybe things like that, it will make a lot of sense. But the situation where you are either hiding information and trying to dish out things you wish to dish out, Nigerians will read between the lines.
Now, Comrade Katchy, it's coming at a time when there was also some drama over a proposed visit by Peter Obi to Benue, where the state government issued a circular refuting that he is allowed to visit the governor within the said time or even visit any communities suffering from forms of insecurity. What do you make about this position that has elicited debates on the position of eminent Nigerians coming to empathize with Nigerians going through certain struggles?
That is, normally when you talk about security or insecurity, people will begin to make phrases like ungoverned spaces. Vacuum does not exist. Because there's lack of communication or relationship between the leaders and the led. That is why we see leaders, using the opportunity to cover those areas. One had expected that some of these interventions, you see some of the leading lights in the society, like Mr. Peter Obi, going to areas where they are facing insecurity or IDPs. These are some of the things we expect our president. You can imagine the kind of rehabilitation, the energy, rebranding it will give to victims, especially family of the victims. Imagine you in a community, you have lost everything in the community, and you see your president coming to show solidarity, encouraging you and promising you hope. it will do a lot. But the situation that such things are lacking, certainly you will see the likes of P2B and others who may want to utilize that to, empathize with them and show solidarity. These are the things we expect people giving mandates to lead, not just the president, the chief of army. There were reports that even Inspector General of Police visited Plateau, but he didn't visit the community where the insecurity took place. Rather, he assigned AIG to do that. It's very unfortunate. It's not. I don't know what emergency that will make him to abort the plan visits. Maybe he just visited areas he feel that are secure, or maybe he went to do solidarity with the governor, and then the major aspect of his visiting, which is the community that are faced with insecurity, you just left it with maybe your junior officers. It doesn't tell good. That is the lack of leadership character that we expect from our leaders. We expect them to lead it from the front and not being reactionary. And this is happening one too many. The killings are happening one too many. It's not just that it happens once in a life. It happens almost on a weekly or daily basis. And these guys, they are not ghosts. They are well known. If you can see some journalists, investigative journalists, ADP, and if they send their team to go and interview these guys, they can make success with it. Meaning that they are not ghosts. You understand? To find out why they are killing people. So what is difficult in, identifying these guys and bringing them to book? That is one of the best way to, bringing justice to situations like this.
Now, Comrade Katchy, my next question is on, does this score any political points for Peter Obi? And if it does score, is there a need for the Benue State Governor to deny him access to visit communities where they are victims of such quite sad incidences?
Very unfortunate that a governor that emerged from the euphoria or basking on the euphoria of religious leadership, and whom Benue have over the years seen as a philanthropist, and because of his interventions with regards to marginalized people or people that are facing issues, that is why he became very popular in Benue at that to the point that Benue gave him the mandate. And I don't know why he feels threatened to see another person, or maybe Mr. P2B, going there to do some intervention. Maybe it simply means that while he was doing those interventions before he became a political figure, perhaps he was doing it for popularity, perhaps he was doing it for politics. And maybe seeing somebody that has such like mind that will become a threat to his popularity if we continue on that trajectory. That is what I see there. If not, I see no reason why we should politicize a visit that is supposed to be a blessing to that state. It's a visit that's supposed to lift the hope of victims of insecurity. A visit that's supposed to aid the suffering and hardship of people in that IDP. You just use politics to boycott it. It doesn't tell good. It doesn't tell good. And if you read the statement they released as at the day the Mr. P2B was to visit that Benue State, it's because laughable. That if you go to social media, people started making mockery of it. You see people start informing the governor they are coming to Benue in a week time, in 2 days time, meaning that if you don't inform him that you are coming to Benue, anything can happen to you. You can be kidnapped, you can be killed, anything can happen. So when we begin to politicize everything, it doesn't tell good, honestly speaking, and it shows that we having this phobia that I don't know where it's coming from. Even if Mr. P2B is coming, maybe is believed to be coming to politicize issues, maybe to using to propagate its popularity or maybe his future aspiration. There are better ways we can handle it. You can pretend as if you don't know his aims and objectives, assuming that is the case, and get something that will benefit your people first. When the time comes for those politicking, you can as well engage in those politicking, but not denying your people benefits of such visits. Honestly, it's unfortunate, and to see that somebody that has been in that system for years, helping people, denying others from benefiting from the same help is giving others, is very unfortunate, to say the least.
Now, before we move on to another subject in the news, I'd just like to get your concluding thoughts on the return of the president, likely after the Easter period, or the public holidays in question, of the urgency and demands to have the president come speak on these issues. Many are asking if these states do not deserve as much attention as Rivers State, where a state of emergency was declared. What would be the presidential approach to this matter upon President Tinubu's return?
With regard to security in Plateau and Benue and other areas?
Yes, please.
Of course, if you look at what happened in Rivers State, we don't need the social or a prophet to tell you that it's pure politics, because it shows that the government of the day, led by President Tinubu, prioritizes mineral resources over the city office of the citizens. Whereas a Nigerian is the most important aspect of governance. That is our priciest, resources, not mineral resources. If we can declare state of emergency in Rivers State because it's protecting facilities, it perceives that political tension is escalating. And similar thing happened in Lagos, where there were even almost fist throwing, and a constitutional authority like State Assembly sat and decided that they don't want their speaker again, and he unilaterally decided against it and reinstated the speaker back, even against the wishes of even the state governor. Now, we are seeing insecurity where people are losing their lives in tens, in hundreds. I'm sure that he will certainly not declare state of emergency in that state, because the one he has already declared is already generating tension.
Now,
I'm sure.
No, let's wait and see upon his return what will happen. Let's move on to another issue in the news. He
will not, because, state of emergency declaration is eroding the principles of democracy. It's usurping the democracy tenets, the constitutional tenets that many, like Bola Tinubu, fought for. He fought with his life, everything, to send military back to their camps, back to the barracks, just to see that we have a civilian government. And today, we are enjoying it, which is benefiting the number one beneficiary of that struggle today. And you are, one way or the other, drawing us back to that military era. Look at what is happening in Rivers State now, where the sole administrator is using fiat to remove all civil appointment or leadership made in that state, from the parastatals to agencies to ministries to local governments.
Comrade Katchy, we'll come to Rivers State in a bit. We'll just follow the order of the issues in the news this morning as we get your thoughts. Our next point of call is on the power sector reforms. We listened to the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, during the interministerial briefing, talking about how unsustainable electricity subsidy is, and also hinting at another tariff hike in the power sector, all in a bid to, ensure that the Gencos also receive part of the monies they've been owed. What do you make of the comments of Mr. Adelabu yesterday, as it concerns the need to have investors take up interest in our national grid in a way to solving our power crisis?
We personally have seen that coming for a very long time, you know, and I'm not surprised. And you can take this to the bank. This is even if they increase, it will not be the last for the year, and it will not be the last in the lifetime of this administration. You know, they met power per I think units or thereabouts at 20-something naira, then to 66 naira, and they have moved it to 200 and something naira, almost 300 naira, depending on the band they put you. And now there are considerations of increment. The question you ask yourself, the subsidies they claim they are doing in the power sector, where is it going to? The accusations of subsidy with regards to fraud in the petroleum sector led to removal of subsidy. And in this power sector, they have told us that they have removed subsidy in power sector. In other hand, they are claiming they are still retaining some. And now they are straight to increase again. Haven't increased, like the last time they increased, they told us that those that in band A will be experiencing 20 minimum of 20-hour power supply. And as that today, no area in Nigeria today, in the past 1 week, can hit his chest and say that he's experiencing 20-hour power supply. Meaning that those that are being charged with regards to band A prices are being exploited, extorted, and shortchanged. And they are talking about another increase. Just a few days ago, I watched the lamentation of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, where he claimed that last month of March, in his quarters, he was given 2.something million naira as a bill. And coming to the following month, which is this month, he's been given, I think, 20-something million naira or thereabouts. I was like, I want to laugh my ribs out. These are what the things that Nigerians face on a daily basis. And they have frustrated even the Deputy Governor from getting prepaid that he has paid for. So this issue of increments at every little time, I don't know what. First and foremost, before you even talk of increment, you look at the resources of your people. How are they surviving? The incomes of your people. Are you increasing based on the 70,000 naira minimum wage that cannot take care of one individual in 1 month, let alone persons with family? Upon that, you are increasing, as that today in our tariffs with regards to communication sector, the data, the airtimes have been increased by 50%. People are struggling to adopt to it. You are bringing another increment. Honestly speaking, I don't know why this government is bringing policies that are making life difficult for the citizens. If God has blessed us with mineral resources, why can't we concentrate in harnessing the potentials in it? They are untapped and unharnessed mineral resources we have in this country that can take care of our needs. Not necessarily passing people to grave. As of today, many people are going into depression, into frustration. Relationships are collapsing on a daily basis because of economic downturn. And we continue to create environments that are very, very, as of today, just recently we saw a video that circulated in social media where somebody was analyzing Nigeria and Ghana economic policies. Why Nigerians prefer to go to Ghana? These kind of policies will make our best brains, best ideas to find ways out of this country, leaving us to struggle with what we are having today. And they will go there and impact in the society where they are going because they have a better environment to work with. That's our friend. The life expectancy of Nigeria have dropped under this administration. And we continue to create anti-people policies. Honestly speaking, if they back on another increase with regards to power sector, there will be resistance. There will certainly be resistance.
Now, still on this power issue, another angle to the conversation is attending to what the people need. I know many Nigerians might not complain about paying more for power if they actually have the power. But there's a meter shortfall in Nigeria where well over 7 million meters had been promised but have not been supplied. The minister was also assuring that before the end of the year, those who are experiencing what we call estimated or arbitrary billing will have meters installed in their houses. What do you make of this promise to address meter shortfall?
You judge from antecedent before you go to promising political promises. These are one of those things that we know the APC administration with. They have come again with before the end of the year. God will keep us alive. Next year we'll still be discussing about estimated bills. I'm sure of that.
So you think that the promise is going to be a failed one?
Empty promise. If as at the time they privatized our power sector and the subsequent government, there were agreements reached, and you see people flagrantly not honoring those agreements with regards to provision of prepaid meters, and as a government you are not taking measures to bring them to book or possibly terminating their contracts, and you continue to promise more, what does it tell? Honestly speaking, nobody in Nigeria, majority of Nigeria, over 80 to 90% of Nigerians will not take what the Minister of Power is saying serious, except those around him. Because we have had that often and often. In fact, there was a time that we are giving bailout to some of the discos. As of today, no Nigerian city is supposed to pay for prepaid. But for you to get prepaid, you will pay for it. Before it was, when they started payment with regards to prepaid meters, Nigerians, we are told that the money you paid, they will put it into your meter. It's not as if you are paying. You are using it to buy units. Take, for example, as at then, you use 30,000 naira to purchase prepaid. You will have value of 30,000 naira units in your prepaid meter. But that's not the case today. Today, people are paying over 200,000, 180,000 just to get a prepaid. And when you get that prepaid, not minding that what you have spent, they will begin to, if you have a previous charges with regard to estimated bill, they will put it there, just like the experience of the deputy governor. Whether he likes it or not, any day they bring the prepaid, that 20-something million, if you like, let him pay 10 million or 5 million as the case may be, they will carry everything and put in that prepaid. Meaning that for every 1,000 naira unit you purchase, 500 naira will be going in service of that debt. So we continue to see exploitation and extortion. This promise of before the end of course, we have less than 8 months to end the year. We are watching. Fingers crossed. I will purchase my popcorn and be eating and be watching how he will do the political magic or miracle to see that every household in Nigeria gets prepaid before the end of. So it's obvious, just shooting in the air. That promise will not come to pass. It's not as if one doesn't is trying to project a negative thing to the positive aspirations of the government. No, but if you jump from antecedent where we are coming from, you see that it's almost empty promise. If he has said, okay, we can cover certain percentage of this prepaid, of course we'll give him thumbs up. What if he provides 7 million prepaids, as the case may be, as estimated? And at the end of the day, when it comes to distribution, you will not stop to 1 million distributed, because these discos are enjoying estimated big than the prepaid. What will you do? Just the same way they said that they did use during COVID-19 the palliative that ended up in warehouse of politicians. So rebranded it to their name, preparing to use it for campaigns. Similar thing can happen in those prepaid. You see these codes hiding it, believing that if they distribute those prepaid, what they are making, they will not make it. And at the same time, they claim they are at a loss. They claim that they are at a loss. You ask yourself how. That is where I give President Tinubu thumbs up for, removing those bottlenecks, those administrative bottlenecks that are making it difficult for states to own their own power generation. As of today, he has empowered every state, even every local government.
Under the Electricity Act?
Yes, now. You can generate,
but domesticating it,
generate and transmit to national grid. You can generate and distribute to your people.
But domesticating it, how well are the states faring? It almost seems as though not many states have been able to domesticate the Electricity Act as signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The thing is this: Rome was not built in a day. You understand? The issue of domesticating is, I know that over 8 states have, embarked on building power projects in their states. Enugu, Imo, Lagos. There are many of them. So it's something that will take months, if not years, for them to build it. It may take up to 2-3 years. But then I can only encourage them to do it segment by segment. You must not try to achieve your entire state. You can do it in form of 1, 2, 3 local governments. Within short period of time, maybe 8 months or 6 months, you can build power projects that will take care of one local, 2 or 3 local governments to have steady power supply. It becomes a template, expanding it to other local governments. Then say, okay, you want to carry everybody on, because that is one of the challenges we are facing with regard to governance, where every government that comes in will want to do everything. If our governance system is based on, if you come, you are specialized in infrastructure, do your infrastructure and go. Another comes, maybe sports and health. You concentrate and make it to one standard to be exemplary to anywhere in the world. A leading figure, set a pace in that area and go. Another comes, okay, in agri, welfare, administration, or so on and so forth. You come and do it perfectly and go. Sustaining what others have done in the previous sector. It will make sense, but what we have today is everybody wants to touch everything. At the end of the day, you end up doing nothing. You understand? You look at a person like Nelson Wike, who is the FCT minister today. They call him Mr. Project. And he has proven that he's a Mr. Project. In Rivers State, he did wonders. In FCT today, he's performing a lot of political miracles with regard to infrastructure development. But that cannot be said with regards to other areas of life. Not minding that he has not left them, he's still touching them. But when it comes to issue of infrastructure, you give it to him. This is what you expect. You look at the man in Niger State, Governor Bagu, the wonders he's doing in agricultural sector. We give him thumbs up. So let us know that this governor comes, he specializes in this. That will even help us when a president or maybe a leader is elected in this country. You can give those people, it will become a spear peg in a square hole. If, for example, Governor Bagu is no longer a governor, you made him Minister for Agri, I'm sure he will replicate the same wonders. But by the time you just look one political ally you have known for years because of trust you have in him, you give him. He doesn't know that terrain. He starts learning in the process. At the end of the day, he will underperform.
Now let's come to Rivers State, where you had made earlier comments. It's on the big calls by the Nigerian Bar Association and human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, to the president to sack the Rivers State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibokete, retired, over what they allege is a breach of presidential order and blatant disregard for the rule of law. How would you assess these calls in line with some of the recent steps that the sole administrator has taken in the state?
It's unfortunate that the reasons given for the state of emergency or reasons given by the president, it's not what we are seeing today. The excess of state of emergency setting up a sole administrator, which to me is unknown to our constitution, is geared to reconcile disagreeing parties from the governor to the state assembly. But that is not what is happening today. Rather than, reconciling we see the sole administrator appears to be doing things that will even further provoke the river people. As that few days ago, there were reports which they just denied either yesterday or day before yesterday. There were reports that circulated for more than 2 days that is someone elected governor and his deputy to come and give account of 2 years they have been in power. There are also confirmed reports that the allocation given to them, the persons he nominated to take charge of the local government, they were asked to remit, I think, 100 or 150 million naira to accounts. They claim to be joint accounts. These are some of the things I have raised in the past, not just even the sole administrators, among the governors. What they are doing with regards to joint accounts is eroding the victories that is secured by President Tinubu through his Attorney General at Supreme Court, where they give autonomy to local government. They are circumventing it, using meandering way to return back to what we are trying to avoid. So for the sole administrator, is unfortunate. The most striking aspect of it is suppression of voices. The suppression of human rights in that state is something else. Just earlier this week, about 3 days ago, we saw protests in that state. We have two groups we are protesting. One, we are protesting in favor of continuous stay of the state of emergency, while the other is calling for the return of the elected governor in that state. The one that is promoting state of emergency, we are guided. Nobody was disturbed. Nobody was, harassed. But the one that was calling an end to the state of emergency, we are tear gas. Somebody was shot there. You ask yourself, how did we get to this point? And this brings us to some of the things that we will be saying. Whenever you want to carry out protests that will favor the masses, you begin to hear intelligent reports from either Security A or Security B, either DSS or police. They begin to tell intelligent reports, intelligent that it will be hijacked. It becomes this normal saying that a witch cries at night, a child dies in the morning. At the end of the day, you see the protests in one way or the other being infiltrated. You can easily deduce that they are the ones that are causing it. But whenever you see protests that are supporting whatever policies the government are pushing, that is even against the people, you will never hear such a thing or see such a thing. So on that basis, I think the President Bola Tinubu, upon his return, should find a way to return the governor. Honestly speaking, because the continuous stay of that sole administrator will do a lot of damage in that state. Rather than concentrate on his mandate to reconcile parties, to bring peace and stability, he continues to even cause more division in that state.
Comrade Katchy, let me pick your thoughts on the appointment of 23 administrators in the local government areas. Does this somewhat defy the purpose of having a sole administrator in charge?
Illegality begets illegality. That is it. And I'm sure that you are aware that House of Representatives have summoned the sole administrator.
They also inaugurated a 21-member committee to oversee...
To look into what he's doing in the Rivers State.
Yes.
That to tell you that he's going out of his mandate given to him.
But my question is, shouldn't this committee have been set up before his appointment? Because the process of ratification in...
You see, when you have a government that is... we have 3 arms of government. And the essence of having 3 arms of government everywhere in the world is for the purpose of check and balances. But when you have these 3 arms of government going to bed together, this is what you get. They act before they reason. If things were to be done normally, our president did not declare state of emergency before he began to send letters for the approval of that state of emergency to his National Assembly. Certainly there will be resistance if they are not in bed together. Even dissenting voices at the National Assembly who wanted to oppose it. We are shouted down. We saw how Senator countryman governor then, what's his name, Sirake Dixon, expressed his anger with regards to the way he was shut down by the chairman of the National Assembly, who is the Senate president. And in one of the cases, he was even trying to give him point of direction. You understand? He was a Senate president who was perceiving that he was attacking because of Rivers State state of emergency. So now they are beginning to reason something that they would have done before the approval of the state of emergency. That's what they are doing now. And if this had not happened, probably the expected check and balances we expect them to do, they will not do it. If you record them, there were reports that they were giving dollars. Which one of them later claimed that it was for Salah? Have you seen where National Assembly that received payments, allowances of different types in millions, will come to a festive period, you start collecting dollars? That is not a legal tender in Nigeria. Start collecting dollars. They say it's for Salah gifts. Is it not good enough for you to understand that they are in bed with the executive? So even the 21-man committee they set up, if the president comes back and says, no, I don't like that, that's where it ends. After all, in Lagos State, where State Assembly sat and said they don't like their leadership, he single-handedly said, whatever you are discussing, you are just doing it for mere educational exercise. This man is returning back, and that's how it ends. And things like this do not improve good governance, because people will be doing their work in mock, knowing fully well that even if they put in their best, if the man at the top does not like what you are doing, it becomes to mere academic exercise. So we are watching. Let's see what the 21-man committee they set up by the speaker will do with regards to Rivers State. Because what they are trying to do now is damage control to what they have created. And it's unfortunate. And it's avoidable.
Now, in moving on, talking about academic exercises, let's leave talk about politics and the state of the nation and talk about one sector that is often neglected, the education sector. This morning, some schools and teachers have raised concerns about the growth of artificial intelligence, the threats or the opportunities that are bound with AI. In terms of academic integrity of students, some teachers are complaining that students now are more relaxed and just rely on passing assignments to AI to do for them. You find out essays looking similar because of certain AI applications, ChatGPT and the likes, that students now use to write essays, whereas they ought to task themselves in keeping with academic integrity to churn out such assignments. What's happening to the education sector in line with AI? Are the teachers overly worried, or should they focus more on the opportunities that are bound with AI?
I think they shouldn't be worried, because it's part of the development that is, civilization brings. Before now, we wouldn't have engaged in this kind of conversation via phone call. It's either you are in the studio or not. And if you must use phone call, you must go to the Nitel and queue, if at all. Or maybe you use post office. But because of development, these are some of the things you see. So it makes our education to improve. I think one of the things I expect the managers of our education is to see how they can shorten some of the programs that are taking us years. Because you see, with technologies like AI, it makes it that course you are supposed to take 2 years, you can actually do it under 6 months and get the required knowledge of it or about it. If they are claiming they are giving students assignments and they are using AI to do it, some of these students, or most of the schools, I'm sure that no schools allow use of technology or phone in the exam hall. If they go to exam, they still pay for, meaning that they acquire this knowledge easily. Unlike in those days, they will give us a lot of theories. They tell us what they want us to know. But when it comes to the real life issues, you discover that what you are taught is not what is practicable in real life issues. So I don't expect them to be in lamentation with regard to the development of AI. Rather, they should harness the positive in it, see how they can manage it to improve the education. As of today, a child of 15 years today has acquired a lot of knowledge that somebody that 40 years is struggling to acquire. These are the parts of the development with regards to digital development we are facing, or technology development we are facing. So we can look at how we can harness the potential there is, regulate the negative there, the way we restrict some negative things in the system with regards to technology. We can see how we can do that.
Now, talking about the gains of technology, just to add, over 1.9 million candidates are set to sit for Nigeria's first ever digital WASEC. How much of a great news is this, and a breakthrough moment in our history when it comes to computer-based examinations?
Oh, yes. I think it's fantastic. In fact, it was one of the innovations that started with JAMB, Joint Admission Matriculation Board. They started with computer-based exams, which eroded exam practices that have been reported in the past with regards to JAMB exams. Today, you make use of your computer to write exams, answer questions, and in the shortest time, you get your results. It's no longer the one you will write. It will take you months before you begin to see your results. You understand? So it's one of the gains of technology. Once WAEC, NECO, and the other O-level exams like NAPTEB and the rest, GCE, engages in this technological way of writing exams, it will reduce malpractices that we see in our exam centers. And then it will prove credibility of the results and help us to grow as a people. It will no longer be a situation where a student will have A's, but when you have interaction with that student, you'll be struggling to, ascertain how he made the A's. You understand? So it's a good way to go. It's a good way to go. And that is the reason why the teachers shouldn't be worried that students are making use of these technologies in either the assignment, because at the end of the day, if you stop them from making use of it and they engage in an exam where they are to still encounter computer systems to answer questions, they will struggle with it. But once they have early knowledge about it, it will help them a lot. Just recently, was it yesterday, I saw in the news where it was reported that Kano State government sent thousands of chalk to teachers in that state. I was like, how did we get to this point? Whereas others are looking at smart ways to improve the education system so that those are students or pupils will meet up with other global standards. And you are still going back with those chalk system, meaning that if care is not taken, you go to that stage, you see people carry slates on their neck. Yes, now. If care is not taken, you go there, you see people carry slates. Something that we are doing away from, using smart board where they will use marker. You understand? You are still supplying thousands of chalks. Just recently during the Salah, we saw a governor, suspending the education system for 6 weeks because of fasting. Whereas the headquarters of those that are fasting, like the Saudis, the Iran, did not suspend their education system. Even those in the war-torn areas did not suspend theirs. It shows the priorities. It shows that these people are not equipped for leadership. They are just for there to grab power. Because if you are prepared to lead your people, some of this knowledge, you will know it. Decisions you will be taken will be very informed decisions. It will not be decisions that you will take. Everyone will be looking at you as where did you come from? So I think the use of technology in our education system will improve a lot in our system. As of today, a child of 5, 7, 10 years, if you look at the way they respond to issues, their way of reasoning, you will be marveled. In our own time, before you even gain admission into primary school, your hand must touch your ear. You must, it's not easy as of today. That is why the previous Minister for Education, under, I think, President Mohamed Buhari, who claimed that he will not give a child admission when he's not up to 18 years, I was like, where did he come from? Whereas you see a child of 15 years being more standard, even a graduate that is over 30 years. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
You go to other spheres of life, you see the exploits they do. You come to, what do you call it, in sports, you see the exploits they do, more than even those you think that are mature. And that is why we are advocating. If a child that is up to 18 years have right to cast votes, they should have right to be voted for any position. It shouldn't be where you limit it if you're up to 35. If you're not up to 35 years, you cannot run for certain positions. No. If they can vote, it means they have come to age of reasoning. They can even initiate innovations, ideas that are better than those people you think that have gathered experience. There are popular saying in the Christendom that age of Methuselah has nothing to do with the wisdom of Solomon. Nowadays, because of technology, it makes our people to be more wiser, more decisive in their decision taking. So it's a good way to go.
Now, let's still come back to our concluding subject on the program this morning, technology, but this time used in the financial sector. The Security and Exchange Commissions have disowned CBEX. This is in the wake of thousands of Nigerians losing up to 1.3 trillion naira to a Ponzi scheme. In the wake of this, the House of Representatives is also looking to crack down on perpetrators of fraud. Comrade Katchy, some have blamed it on greed. Some are calling for financial literacy and education to curb Nigerians falling prey year after year to Ponzi schemes. Do you think it's an uncurable situation of some greedy persons falling prey, or it's the need for more financial education to curb the practice of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria?
It's a combination of all. But the most important aspect of it is the leadership of our nation. We shouldn't be reactive in situations like this. I just read a report that EFCC want to collaborate with FBI and other Interpol to track these CBEX and the rest. It becomes reactionary. I had expected, just like the same way we often see EFCC, give public enlightenment with regards to activities of internet fraudsters. What you do with your phone and how to react to certain issues or messages that you see in your phone. These are what we expect SEC to do, and not to be, when you see any, whether in the crypto or in any angle where they begin to tell you that you get 100% investment on your whatever you put in, you should know now, we expect them to be active, responsive, not reactive. You understand? We saw in the past in our banking sector, where similar thing like Ponzi scheme is what we are known as banks with. People will gather money, all of a sudden hear that the bank has folded. It takes smart move up. I think CBN governor then, I think Charles Soludo, Professor Soludo, coming to capitalize banks, making sure that you have capital investment in CBN, that anything that warrants you folding up, people will not lose their money. And we saw MFL, moving, I think that was 25 billion naira then to up to either 100 billion or thereabouts. These are some of not reactive, responsive leadership, taking the challenge by the horn. SEC, we expect them to, SEC in collaboration with the CBN and the other regulating agencies like NFIU, need to come up with certain patterns to regulate these things. It shouldn't be that when they dupe Nigerians start reacting. No. Even if you think that they can boycott, because in a digital world it's a global thing, that you, just like when we ban Twitter, some people use another way to circumvent and they enter back to Twitter, now X. If you think it's a global thing, you will be on a continuous sensitization. Once you see one developing, you continue to sensitize your people
look at the possibly or likely outcome of this. We look at possible or likely outcome of this. It will help to sensitize our people. It will help, okay, like the CBEX. CBEX had a head office in Lagos. Can you tell me that for them to have office in Lagos, they don't have registration in Nigeria?
That's another angle to it, because SEC also issued a statement saying that
from the CBN,
saying that they were unlicensed and unregistered. So with that office you're citing again, I have the similar question and concern. If they didn't get the license and registration, who gave them the permit to run an office in Lagos?
Honestly speaking, it's just like this situation whereby you see developers building houses, and those are the local authorities, local government that are supposed to regulate it. They will fold their hands. You finish building that will take you minimum of 6 months or a year. You finish it. All of a sudden, you start seeing somebody coming to market rent. You ask yourself, how do is it because we are having incompetent people leading us as a people? Where are you when they start foundation to lintel to roofing? You did not show up. They finish packing. You come and start talking, telling Nigerians that this is either waterways, this is supposed to rail track, this is supposed to, it was not captured in my master project planning or something. You start hearing different kinds of grammar. That's the best. We expect that starting here is supposed to roll so that it serves as death threat. But because we have incompetent people that are, guided by their nepotism and I don't know how to put it. If not, the local government that CBEX is located, that local government chairman, either administrator, supposed to lose his job. One. Whoever that is in charge of that particular zone, in the CBN or NFIU or what have you, supposed to lose his job. The CAC in charge of that state, supposed to lose his job. It will serve a death threat to whoever that they will stand there to replace the person, to work very hard and diligently. You cannot tell me that CBEX will open that magnificent giant of office that they looted, and nobody asks questions. What are you doing? What are your? That is why you see numerous illegal mining in the country today.
Now
Foreigners just walk into the country, acquire a land, and start mining.
Now, in this increased advocacy for some form of regulation, especially with digital assets, it's also on the toll it is taking on the lives of those who care to invest in it. Earlier, we saw the leadership publishing that over 27 people are now hospitalized owing to the millions they lost investing in such unlicensed and unregistered digital assets. Going forward, regulation based with SEC or based with the anti-graft agencies, which should intensify more efforts?
I think it's also a combination, not just agencies that are supposed to regulate or license any financial company. It's supposed to be a combined thing. You know, as of today, we have seen that if you are doing business in any locality, you will see local governments coming to ask you for permits, tenement rates, or whatever they call it. And if you are maybe in a field like, say you are on doing something like health, they have association that will come to check what you are doing, the environment where you are doing it, the nearest to what you are doing. Maybe if there are another pharmacy closest to you, there are certain parameters they check. This is what we expect in every sector. If in the financial sector and you are having multiple streams of doing business in that area, there should be regulators. There should be associations that will help to checkmate activities of people that are coming in. It shouldn't be something that you open to anybody that can do, anybody can act from anywhere. These are the things that give room to manipulators, fraud, and scam. And that is why it appears things like this. Yes, it happens everywhere in the world, but you hardly see it in a developed world without nipping it from the board. Nipping it on the board before it even escalates. And people that perpetrate it will be easily, of course, we saw the likes of Hush Puppy. When it was raining, he became a celebrity in Nigeria. But you saw how he was rounded off in Dubai and sent to US. These are some of the things we expect our people to do. It shouldn't be a situation where maybe you meet those perpetrating such a thing, they will bribe their way out of it. Once we put competent people in the right position, not minding this nepotism we are doing, not minding with this ethnic marginalization we are doing, a lot of things will be right. As of today, you look at the appointments, most of appointments done by this administration tends to go on one side, thereby eroding trust and faith. And once that trust and faith is eroded, bias will come. People will not give in their best. And when issues like this are brought on the table, they begin to look at ethnic inclination. And this is what gives them to this incompetence and people falling victims of scams. If you put the right people there, right people in every sector, in every field of life, certainly before things will escalate to get to bad as we experience with regard to these CBEX, they will know. They will raise alarm. And possibly the damage will be limited.
Well, Comrade Katchy, I must thank you for your objective thoughts to the issues in the news this morning. We appreciate you for taking our time to join the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Wishing you a good Easter period as well. Happy Good Friday.
Thank you. I wish you the same and have wonderful viewers.